Hey, welcome. And now we can create the functionality in order to add products to our cart. To do this, we have to go to the provider folder, and then within the provider folder, we can create a new file, and we can call this cart underscore provider, and then the extension is dot dot. Now the first step is to create a class, and we can call this class cart provider. And now we can say with change notifier. Great. So what we want to do now is we want to create a variable which is going to store all our added products. That is all the products we are adding to our cart. And this is going to be a type of map of string. And what we can also do, remember, whenever we add product to our cart, we want to add the product based on the product name, product ID, image URL, quantity, price, vendor ID, product size. And the reason for this is because in the future, we would have another screen, which is going to be the cart screen to display all our added product. And also one field we can add is going to be the schedule date. So we can say time. It's going to be a type of type stamp, and we can call this field schedule schedule date. Okay. And now we have to pass it on to our constructor. So this is going to be required in this dot schedule date. Okay, great. And what we can do is over here, we can say it's also going to be a type of the cart attribute. Great. And now we can call this underscore cart items. And currently we do not have any product to our cart, or we do not want to have any default value. That is, we do not want to have any product added to our cart default, but we want the users to be able to add the product to their carts themselves. So we can make this empty. So currently we have no item in our cart. And what we have to do now is to return this. So again, we can say map string and cart attribute because we want to have access to all those fields. And now we can say get in order to have access to that variable over there. And we can call this get cart item. Get cart item. Get cart item. And now we can say return underscore get cart items. And over here we need a comma. Now if you don't know why we are doing this, remember we made this variable on this, we made this variable private, and this means we won't be able to have access to this variable. So over here we are basically just saying you can just see this as an overriding of this. So whenever we want to refer to this variable, we are just going to refer to this get cart item variable, and by referring to this we are basically just referring to this. So you can see we are saying get cart item, then we want to return this. So whenever we call this variable, we are basically just referring to this, okay? And now we can create the function to add product to our cart. So we can say void, and we can call this add product to cart. And again, we have to specify all the fields we need. String, we want the product. What I can just do is, in order not to miss anyone out, I'm just going to copy this first of all. Copy this and paste this over here. And I'm just going to comment it for now. Okay. So we want what? The product name, comma, string, product ID, then list, image, URL, Control B to make this wide, and int one one quantity. I think I made a spell mistake over here. Quantity. I'm just gonna rename this quickly. Control and C to copy. Control and B to make this wide. And over here is this, and is this. Okay. And I can save this file, and we want the price is gonna be double price, and we want the vendor ID string, that is the user who is selling that product, and also we want the product size and string, because users can only add one product size can sorry users can only choose one product size, and remember we are saving that already. So time stamp. Okay, why do we have this error over here? So we have to import. Okay, great. So these are all the fields we want to add the product to cart with. And now before we add the product to our cart, what we want to do is we want to check if that product has already been added to our cart or not. So to do this, we can have an if statement. And remember, all the products is going to be stored in this underscore cart items variable. So we can say if underscore cart items dot contains key, and because it is a map, we have a property or a method known as contains key, and we want to check based on the product ID. Product ID. Here's the okay. We can just copy this. If it already exists, it means that product has been added. Uh, so what we can do is, if the product is already in our cart, so that's what we're basically saying, then we just want to update that product. So over here, we can say underscore cart items, and because it is a map, we have access to the update. And the key, we want to update the product based on the product ID again. And instead of using, okay, what we can do now is we can then call the cart attribute, okay. And you can see it automatically passed in all these fields. It automatically passes in all these fields. But what we want to do is we can get rid of this value and rename it to existing existing cart. Okay. Now this is going to be existing cart, then dot product name, and sorry, then existing cart, then dot product what? Product ID, and and existing path, then dot image URL. I'm just going to use Control and S to save. Okay, we have an error. Okay, I think we need a semicolon and use Control and S to save to easily format this so it's going to be understandable to us. And easy existing cart and dot what quantity. And in this case, we want to add one to it whenever this whenever it is clicked. And existing cart is going to be dot price existing cart dot what dot vendor ID existing cart dot product size existing cart and dot schedule date. Okay, so this is what we are saying. If this variable, remember this variable will basically store all our added item, right? And now we are checking if that item is there, then we just want to update the quantity by one. And remember, we are updating the item based on the product name, the product ID, the product and everything over here. Sorry, we first of all updating it by the product ID, and then again we said we want to have all these fields still. So this is what we are basically doing. So we are checking if the item is already in this variable called underscore cart items, then we just want to be able to click on the button and to increment it by one. So this is what we are doing. So in the next lecture, we're going to have an else statement, that is else if the item is yet to be added, then we want to add it. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in the next lecture. Okay.